Shalom YouTubers, back again making another video. As I said, I know you guys are probably getting tired of this, but I wanted to keep on the topic of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now this is a little book called Reasoning from the Scriptures. Um, I got this probably 4 years ago. A guy, my in-laws had basically had tried to talk to me, which ellos son testigos de Jehová y no hablan inglés. So my in-laws are Jehovah's Witnesses and they don't speak English. So they sent a man from their congregation, extremely nice guy, um, came over and we talked for a couple months actually. And I asked him to give me one of these. And at first he was kind of shocked, like, how did you know this book? And Google, the internet, which I was looking on, I think it was Jehovah'sWitness.com. I think it was before it changed into jw.org. I don't remember what it was at the time. I said, well, you know, and it's the truth. I had got on there and saw some articles from this book, and my daughter got a hold of it, and which I actually found another one the other day at a local bookstore, which I couldn't believe. But what I wanted to talk about today is the Sabbath. Now, being Messianic, I follow the Sabbath. I keep Sabbath. Sabbath is very important. So something that is brought up is the Sabbath topic in here, because whatever topic a householder will come up with, this book was the book. It was the manual to say, hey, this is how we handle this. This is how we have deal with conversation stoppers. Somebody says, well, you know, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I don't have time. Well, bam, read this answer here. If somebody has objections, well, Jesus is not God, or Jesus is God. Well, bam, go to this page. This is the subject here. So, in the Black Book, the New World Translation, which is better than the Gray one, has a topic for the Sabbath. I've went through here and looked at some of these. Some of the scriptures they use are just ridiculous because it's out of context, especially being rebuked, which there were Galatians, and the Galatians weren't Jewish Torah observant followers. They were pagans. That's why they were going back to pagan idolatry. So one thing that I like with this, especially with the reasoning from the scriptures, when you look through here, it has a topic of how did Sunday come to be the principal day of worship for Christendom. So, although Christ was resurrected on the first day of the week, now called Sunday, the Bible contains no instruction to set aside that day of the week as sacred. So, there is no command to keep Sunday holy, but Exodus, as far as the fourth commandment, says to remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. So, there's arguments in here in regards to it was only given to Israel, it was not before that. It was only pronounced at that time. So, kind of scoping down through here right quick, reading through it. The retention of the old pagan name Dies Solis, or Sunday, for the weekly Christian festival is in great measure owing the union of pagan and so-called Christian sentiment with the first day of the week. Was recommended by Constantine, in effect 321. So it goes back to pagan sun god worship. Whenever you do your history, it's easy just to do a Google search and see how much Christianity was affected, because it wasn't that the church at that time, and I'm still learning my church history, was basically saying, okay, you have to just totally renounce everything that you're doing, and bam, you have to do it our ways with the pagans. What they were doing is basically rituals that were already like what the pagans were doing, so it was easier to get them in. Now, something that through a book that I read, it was actually through David Stern, and I can't find the book since I've moved, and I know I have it around here, is basically that the Jewish Christians, or the Messianics, whenever they came in, they had to totally denounce everything that they were doing, and they were made to eat a ham sandwich, which, if you know from the dietary food laws, is not kosher. So, one thing I ask a witness, and I know I've talked around about all that, but I usually ask, and a lot of the older ones have this. So if you bring this out, it can be a double-edged sword, because they're going to be like, well, where did you get that? You automatically know about us. We're done. We don't want to talk to you anymore. which the majority of the time I play stupid because there's so much material that I tried to read through it at one time, and I got to the point where it's like, oh, I would go down to a local bookstore and I thought either A, somebody was kicked out, or B, maybe an older witness had died and the relatives were giving their stuff away. But I just couldn't read it all, and I still can't. I've got a whole bunch of stuff in there that I've put up that if I see something, I'm gonna go pick it up because there's always some pretty good, interesting articles to see what they were into at that time. But usually, even with reasoning from the scriptures, I haven't read all the way through, and that's what I say. You know, I've got this on the shelf. I haven't read through it. I know it's some of your publications because I do agree with the witnesses that I don't believe in eternal torment. I don't believe in the rapture, and that's a point right there that we start connecting. But my question is, I say, well, you know, it's got a thing here about the Sabbath where it talks about how that Constantine changed it over from Saturday to Sunday. Um, do you guys agree with that? And either A, they will, or B, they won't. If they won't, then you have a problem because you're not agreeing with your book. The second thing is, excuse me, you're not agreeing with history. If they do, and here's the kicker, why would you want to be involved with false religion? So then it comes back to maybe a scriptural ping pong debate, which I don't usually like to get into. I like to get philosophical and ask why, who, what, when, where. Um, so there are topics in here in regards to basically the Sabbath being done away with and the law being done away with, which whenever you go through these points, as far as in the back of the New World Translation, um, they're really weak because you can look through and read the context of what each one is. So I suggest if you have loved ones that are witnesses or know someone that is, if you find one of these, keep it, read through it, and just ask questions. They don't make this book anymore. The reason why is because the doctrine has changed so much. There's many points in here about prophecy and false prophecy, and how the generation of 1914 would not pass away. It's another video for another day. So, um, I like my little reasoning from the scriptures book. I like my New World Translation book, or Bible, I should say. It comes in handy in regards to dealing with people that knock on my door on whatever day of the week. So, comment, like, subscribe. Shalom.